Hey, what's up? It's your boy Bobby Sapphire. It is early Sunday morning for three of us. For one of us, it's like Sunday afternoon in Milan. I got the K.
Florence.
Oh, Florence. Sorry, I always keep saying Milan. I'm thinking
Philippines.
about
Yeah.
the tournament, I think. But what's up, Steve? You're in Italy, Italia.
Yes,
Uzi.
sir. Noon.
Uzi.
Getting ready to go. It's been a good trip. We were just talking about it. It's crazy to think that Charlotte was last weekend. Like,
You're a
it's been
world
a blur.
traveler. You're all
Yeah.
over the place.
That's how I
Yeah,
felt a
heading
lot
to
of
Rome
January,
tomorrow.
February. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So instead of coffee, do you have a glass of wine?
I have a bottle of chilling that I was gonna pop midstream, but we're getting there.
Okay, nice.
Let's
Nice.
What are you doing in Rome? Are you doing Sistine Chapel? You gonna go see the Vatican? Or are you gonna wait in line?
Oh, I don't know. We haven't really talked about that. I know Lauren wants to go see a museum or something along those lines, so we'll probably find something. But like, I just want to eat and drink and walk around and see shit.
Yeah, the museum tours
Like,
are sick. Do the audio tours.
yeah, museum stuff doesn't really do much for me, but I know she wants to do it, so we'll probably do something like that. But mostly just like go see the sights,
Yeah,
drink some
well,
wine.
see St. Peter's
Good food.
Basilica if you can. See the Pietà. See some cool art.
Yeah,
Yo,
for
do you-
You're
sure.
gonna be in Rome.
Do you remember this, Mike? When we went to go see the Vatican, it was like one of the first Sundays it was open, so it was like kind of empty in
Yeah,
terms of
I
like.
do remember that. I don't know if it was one of the first, but she did say it was like very rare that the Vatican is ever open on Sunday. But it was when we were there, so we basically got to see just our tour. So it was like 50 people in the Vatican, and no other tourists. It was crazy. We lucked out.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You guys are like Indiana Jones. You don't end up in the sewers looking for like a map of
To
you're
be
like
honest,
rats. I don't like rats.
If that was my life, and I mean, I already have the guidebook, right? Like put the
You
shield
gave
over
you
me
gave the
while
book
everything else burns.
you gave the book to me.
I had to. It's one of my favorite lines in all the movies.
Oh my god, it's the best.
He knows 17 languages. You won't. I wish I knew the line, but it's like.
I wish we knew that perfectly. That might be the greatest
Yeah.
stretch of movie history ever.
That's so.
For those of you who know what we're talking about, you're enjoying it. Everyone else, what are they doing?
The penitent man shall pass. All right, let's talk about Star Wars. We're gonna talk about the early set for meta, of course. That seems to be our constant conversation until tournaments start. Star Wars Unlimited is absolutely booming, like it's crushing.
Yeah.
Busted interactions.
JTL baby.
KTL Carbonite is a big reason for that. I want to talk briefly about the breaks we've been doing and the hot hits we've hit, and then just a couple listener questions at the end.
Get it, boys.
As always, you can check out our YouTube channel. One of the reasons we know YouTube is popping off is because our hits this week have been pretty crazy. The video I did yesterday, I took this early, but it's already at 11K views for one video, which is like early Star Wars Unlimited time. Yeah, so that's going great. Check us out on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, you can watch it. And all our videos twice a week. We also have a Patreon if you want to check that out. We have a competitive Discord. We had a massive influx of people, over 70 people this week. Maybe over 80. I forget to check. I was going to check right before.
Yeah, we had a couple more this morning.
We crossed the 1,500 barrier.
Welcome to all the new people. We've been trying to put out a lot of internal content too. Alex was streaming last night, just like chit chatting with the guys, talking about Han. CJ and I are going to do part 2, long-awaited Town Hall tonight, where we're going to talk about Sabine Town Hall. So that's going to be really exciting after Sunday supper in New England. So just a lot of like really great action internally. So if you're new and you're not sure where to go, definitely ask and say like, hey, where do I find all this stuff? Deck threads. Mike's got the intro video.
Yeah,
I know it's overwhelming.
Yep.
I know it's overwhelming when you jump in. So like if you're new and you're like, where do I go to get all the cool stuff? Definitely like
click on rules. Rules is where the intro video is. You will get a DM from me. I think I'm at March 14th with the welcome messages. So you should be getting one from me if you haven't already. And then even if you're on the free tier, or if you're not on the free tier because you're like anti-Patreon or whatever, you should hop on the free tier. We get invited to be part of this growth program with Patreon, and that means we have to post free content twice a week. So even just being a free member will get you a lot of activity, Star Wars Unlimited content in your feed.
Don't they get an email too with that deck, like the intro video, or is that just inside the Discord?
So. I think they do get it.
Because somebody in the Han stream was asking how to find the Han thread. They were brand new, and I just pointed them to
someone DM'd me about
the
it.
thread. But yeah, okay, cool.
And yeah, they should. Not everyone checks their email. Obviously, like
Right.
however you think you're gonna get notifications. We also don't spam notifications. Should be safe to like keep a couple like the announcements.
Yeah.
On. You can check out our shop. Steve, did you hook up the YouTube integration? Maybe these links are during the YouTube video, like.
No, I tried to, but there was an internal like API error. It was saying, and honestly, I haven't checked to see if it got fixed since then.
Well, we have a shop, Fourth Wall. We have like premium KTOD gear. This stuff is really nice.
Yeah, I think this is the first time we're all in the new logo on a pod.
Yeah,
I think we're
finally
fully integrated.
I really wanted to wear my crew today, but I couldn't find it. Tough finding things at 6:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then KTOD Maddie has a channel. No new updates. You got an idea on when you're popping back in?
Probably with JTL when there's more stuff to kind of throw out there. Yeah. It's
give it a follow.
Stay tuned. Yeah.
And you'll get.
I mean, he's been making out content for the main channel, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, did some main channel. I mean, the thing is like
priorities.
They're going to be time. Yeah. With the new baby, like, you know, that's tough. But like, there's always going to be ebbs and flows. But like, you know, with the new set, there'll be some spillover. There's some like evergreen videos that I have working up in my head, which is where some of this stuff went. But also prioritizing the main channel. So we'll see what happens with the side channel. But give it a like. There's some videos in there that like are a little less loved. Some of the earlier ones that I think are really informative. So it's still good stuff to dig around in there.
Yeah, it's great.
I need to get Sim doing some more thumbnails.
Yeah, people miss them. And if you didn't know, we're in the middle of a world tour on the way to Galactic Championships in Vegas. This past weekend, Steve and Justin went to SCG Charlotte. Steve top 8'd on Saturday, right, Steve? And Justin
top 8'd.
Justin played Magic because that was the regional championship. And you could see them hanging out with the famous YouTuber Doomwake at the KTOD hang.
Yeah, it was a great hang, and we're looking forward to the next one. But this was like such a great. I don't know. We were there for like 3 or 4 hours, and the energy was great, and
I can't believe
the drinks were flowing.
4 hours.
And we were just having a great time. It was about 8 of us, but it was great. Doomwake, childhood friend of Maddie's, and local guy was there, so it was just really cool, really great energy.
I remember like
that was funny to hear like
7-Eleven at 1 a.m.
Dude, 7-Eleven, ordering party pizzas and playing Magic in the basement. Like I didn't even know what a party pizza was until him and one of his buddies like told me about it.
I don't know what a party pizza is.
It's like one of the giant rectangle ones for like 50 people.
You can get like the grocery store.
Yeah.
I had no idea it existed. I just ate Donna Gem pizza, so I didn't really need grocery store pizza.
Donna Gem's pizza.
Back when I could eat gluten.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, hey, she might have a gluten-free recipe with Dad can't eat gluten either.
True.
So
hit her up.
We'll have to get her popping on that.
So just to mention the next stop. The next stop is in 3 weeks. In Denver.
That's crazy.
And I'll have to change the slide because then we'll have finished all 6 stops, and it'll be next stop Minnesota. And then I don't know, Maddie, were you planning on doing another local one?
I'm doing Richmond. Richmond's
doing Raleigh or Richmond.
Oh yeah, I got to add Richmond too.
Raleigh.
Richmond's
we got to add that.
I'm doing Richmond. The only wrinkle in that would be just what day I do it. Like say, because I don't know what my back to work looks like yet. So like say I get kind of screwed on like Friday, I'll just drive down Saturday bright and early and just host one and
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll try to do something locally. I've been as some of the people in the Discord might know, because the competitive season like took a little break and like I'm ramping up and I don't want to burn out. I've been playing some Twin Sons, man. So it might be a Twin Sons hang.
Twin Sons hang would be
Twin
insane.
Sons hang would be cool. They definitely don't all have to be drafts.
No. And Charlotte was simply just a hang, which some of them will be too.
And
Denver will just be a hang. And Kyle Crapp, check your DMs at the end of the day today. We'll talk about ironing out the details on Denver. But I think it's just the social aspect and just getting to meet people is the best part.
I think having it at the hotel really benefited you guys. Like that's what made people like be able to just stay. People can stay late. So like these being at a convention center with a hotel might be like really beneficial.
The move. Yeah.
Might be the move.
Yeah. I'm working on picking up the KTOD cube. I'm gonna go through what Steve did and kind of like turn into my thing. And so that could also be I could just bring a cube to the hang.
That's true.
If you become like
you
the
can take
Twin
mine, too, if you
Sons
need them.
cube man,
Cool.
that's gonna be so sick. Like you're gonna be like the party guy. Like you just have like a giant backpack with all
Twin
the games.
Sons
Like,
and cube, and we're here to party.
And honestly,
Every-
there's so many foils out there because of Carbonite that like we could make so many foil cubes to just like have around. And you should roll up with the same cube, like 4 of them.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I'm excited to dive into that. I think JTL really unlocked some things for that format.
Yeah, that 4's popping off. Great segue. There's
Santa.
Maddie. Hi, Santa Maddie.
Santa Maddie.
Hanging out with the kids. This is Justin's kids, my kids. We all went to the park yesterday. We played basketball. We played football. And I distributed the Carbonite and JTL cases that we ordered. Shout out to My Two Sons in Vegas, our sponsor for card supply. Got those cards in and split them all up. So that was a fun day.
Yeah,
Mine are still in my car. I gotta.
You were
crack
breaking
them.
ankles on the basketball court, Mike.
I was moving pretty
Dude,
good
that
for an old
picture you
man.
sent, insane. You like lean into the side, dribbling. Like whoever took that photo is like that was pro
Justin.
level.
Well, I'll say this: Justin's youngest is a beast in terms of like his hustle. So he was like legitimately D'ing us up. It doesn't help that he's like 2 foot nothing, but he put you in the glove. Like he was all over you. You couldn't move.
He loves
which is
loves
great.
defense.
I'm like, oh, I love
The
this.
best
Make him
part-
take bad shots.
Best part is that both of the Gem brothers are very athletic guys and have good basketball moves until the ball releases your hands, and then it is like it's like a crossover. It's like, oh, they're nice. Like, and then the ball comes out, and the form looks great. And then the ball comes out, and it'll be like a 2 foot
My hand always
like
twists.
air
I can't
ball.
figure it out.
Maddie especially. Maddie looks
Dude.
perfect. Like Maddie looks like a former like high school legit basketball player, and the ball leaves his hands, and then it'll literally be 3 feet like
Dude, it's
short
bad,
of the
man.
hoop. It's
Pickup games, all I did was play defense and pass and like take a layup. Or like, I mean, in like organized play, I would try to take a foul, you know, like up near the hoop. But I don't know what it is. I just like my brain just short circuits right at that release point.
I only played youth
Wild
basketball,
times.
but I played. I was like a 4 with a mindset of a 2, but I should not be shooting. I should just be under the hoop, guarding whatever girls on the other
you're
team
tall.
and boxing around. All right.
I will say we cracked the packs. We
Yeah.
didn't, we opened a couple of the regular boxes. We didn't go crazy, and then we had the 1 carbon, which I let the kids open 6 packs each. And the carbon was pretty like the distinction now when you have both. It's like the first box we actually hit pretty good. Like we got a bunch of Hans, and we got like I think we were averaging maybe about like 9 legendaries a box, which was great.
Cool.
And like hit a lot of the good rares. But then the carbon comes, and it's like, my youngest boy opened a showcase. It was Rose, so is that even a showcase? We're not sure. But like you open, it's like this foil, this legendary, this, and like it's pretty exciting. So carbon is definitely the move.
Yeah, it's been tempting.
You just get so many legendaries. Like I got, you get the 12 prestige cards, and of the 12, it's like 5 of those were legendaries, and it's we didn't get a serial, but you get a foil legendary prestige. It's like that's a pretty good get. So carbon's exciting.
Well, what I
sure.
like
Yeah,
about
man.
carbon for the kids, especially, like they play, right? They don't care if their cards are foiled. Like they're not going to a tournament with card foils.
Right.
So you can actually like reap the benefits of all those foils. I bought some packs on Whatnot because Alex was streaming. It was just like before the set came out, so we're kind of having fun. And I was sorting my Whatnot packs, and it's just like 9 foils.
Yeah.
Oh,
This one's a sick
and
one.
it's just
Like
like-
I'm just gonna keep this one, not to play, but just like
Yeah, to keep.
it's
Yeah.
just
A keepsake.
I have
Yeah.
I have
Just
all these
great.
random cards around
Get
my
it graded.
office that I keep just for keeping, like Gamma Bomb. You know what I mean? It's just like I just
oh
like
wow,
having
Game
this
of Thrones.
Augury Owl. That's one Maddie got me.
Abigail.
Cool.
I opened 4
Owl,
boxes.
baby.
I
Hoot,
opened
hoot.
0 Devastators. I
Same.
opened 1.
I didn't know. I opened 3 boxes and 0 Devastators.
1 planetary bombardment. This is why I really don't like buying boxes. So I opened a showcase on the very first box, and I was like, ugh,
Maybe.
I really don't want to keep opening, but I do need cards. and I was like, I'll open one more, and then I did one more and one more. Still didn't get the stuff that I need. Like I still
Well, I think
got
that's
two
the
IG
problem.
2000s, you know. So I'm tempted to open one box of Carbonite, but I'm a little worried about all the foils. And I know like
The
people love it,
foils
people
are
having a blast.
worrisome.
It's just like I only play, I don't collect.
So I have a question. What the foiling on the Prestige is different, but the regular foils are just
They're
like normal,
pretty
right?
much
Because like
the same. Let me see right here.
this is I opened this box live on stream. I don't know if I can show it that well, but like I put these cards exactly right in it, not in a hard plastic, but in a regular
A card
sleeve.
yeah.
And they're just so pringled already. And this is a legendary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is, like I am really excited about a lot of things. Just the foils, like Mike said, like is my worry, because like, do I really need to put every single foil in a hard plastic sleeve so it doesn't
I do.
pringle
Every
up really
legendary
bad?
foil I do.
Yeah.
Every other
I
one
haven't
do.
had. I've been on the opposite side. Like when I was building the cube, like all of my foils are just fine. Like I mean,
Good.
I put them in a perfect fit as soon as I open the pack. But
I
like
think
I
that's
haven't had
key.
any issues with warp foils whatsoever. Like with the
Wow.
cube, and I mean, obviously I haven't been keeping up with that, which is why Maddie's taking that over. I just haven't had time. But when I was putting the cube together, every foil I traded for or every foil I opened just went straight into a perfect fit, and like I've had no issues with warping.
It might just be the perfect fit, locks them
Yeah.
in.
It's a little
Maybe
tighter,
that's the move then.
Yeah.
Because I put these right in just like a regular sleeve. And I mean,
yeah,
it's Unity of Purpose and Nebula Ignition. So I'm not too burnt on it, but I like the art on the
I sent
Unity
a
of
message
Purpose.
yesterday, but save those foil legendaries for me, hyperfoil legendaries for me. I have something I want to do with.
Yeah. I saw that.
Right.
Mike, I have an enormous amount of that kind of stuff too.
That'll be perfect. I have a good
When I
one
see you.
So we mentioned earlier, but YouTube hits are soaring. I mean, we're so hyped about all this Carbonite stuff. We've been doing breaks in the Discord, which I briefly mentioned. I have some pictures coming up, but like we've done 2 breaks. I've gotten
can you
2
see it?
serialized. What do you got? Oh, the
You see
coaster.
that?
Nebula.
Oh my god.
Nice. 500 people signed up for Milan. We were talking to someone who works at FFG yesterday and said like the Carbonite stuff is like already almost sold out. Like people have just been buying it like crazy. There does seem to be more boxes than we originally thought, but like from FFG's standpoint, they think the game is doing great. And if you look at all the hype, if you look at the numbers, it's doing great.
Yeah. I mean the game is popping off. Like I was watching a random, not like a random video the other day about like I think it's called Cards HQ. I think it's like out of Atlanta, just like seeing what their shop looked like. And like within the first couple minutes, they're talking about it's like they do sports cards and they're like, but if you're, they're primarily talking about sports cards, but then like, we also do Pokemon and this new game Star Wars Unlimited's popping up. And this is just like in a random 200K video about a card shop. So like it is doing well. I think from our competitive lens, like we play the game every day, we think about the game every day. We want more there, but I think patience is a virtue, and I think like once we get these big events, and I think we're gonna feel really good about it. Especially once we see like if they take our feedback and we're like, okay, these things worked, and we'd like to see more of this. I think that they are listening. So like, I'm really excited for this year and set in like season 1. I think it's gonna be really good. Like look at those worlds cards that they like. Those are completely different, like that, like more 3D style art. Like we could get some really cool prize cards that could see some success, which is exciting.
Start of OP in 2 weeks is really gonna launch it competitively to the next level. We've got the battle in Atlanta in America. We've got the Milan sector overseas.
500 people for Milan is pretty insane. Like that's pretty
awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
And think about how many people wait to the last minute.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to be 500 people. It's going to end up being.
Yeah, it could be like 750.
It could be over 1,000. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
So easy.
Richmond had good numbers early Italy, too, right?
In Europe, right? Like you can travel so easily. Europe. Just pop on a train.
Italy's
part of $20 plane.
Or whatever.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Richmond has good numbers. I think they said like it went to like 450 or something really fast. Denver numbers are
Yeah.
hidden for whatever reason.
Well, we will be there.
Denver might end up being one of the smaller ones. I feel like West Coast that happens that way.
Well, one thing.
Yeah, although the fact that it's the first US one and there's a lot of people who and like there's no one going. Like when we were in Charlotte, it was like, "Hey, are you guys going to Denver?" They're like, "Yeah, we're going." "Oh, we'll see you in Denver." Because
Oh, cool.
I think it's like the first one.
Right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
good,
Like
then.
it's the one that people can go. Yeah. If it was flipped with Richmond, it probably would be really low.
Traditionally West
Because
Coast the numbers are
it's
smaller.
not near anything, so like it's not like Richmond where people all over the southeast are gonna drive. Like
Just
they're gonna
drive,
take
right.
their.
I mean, I'm gonna
6-hour
probably
ride
drive.
to Richmond.
It's 8 hours.
Oh, it is.
A little longer.
I
than
think-
2 hours.
I thought it was
Is it more?
11 hours.
It's 2 hours south of DC.
But yeah, so you can't drive to
Probably
Denver.
like
Like you
11.
can't drive to Denver from a lot of places. Like the eastern seaboard is like a different planet compared to West Coast, where like you have to drive 18 hours just to get to another city. So
Right.
it's something that most people are going to be flying. What do you
8
think?
hours and 11 minutes.
Okay, Maddie.
All
Let's
right.
go.
Well, so
On a
the
Sunday
reason I
morning,
might do that is just because of like if I have to leave at a specific time, like that a flight won't correspond to, I might just do the drive, listen to a book.
All right, let's see what's up next. Early meta deck choices. I just kind of wanted to throw this out there. We had another talking point about the meta, but like if not thinking about regionals, but like if you had a 1K or a showdown tomorrow, what would you be playing? And I just kind of threw these up there because these are decks that we talk about a lot. Justin, you're still heavy working on Sabine.
Yeah, I think CJ and I are gonna get on the town hall. The deck thread's been popping off, kind of like a rebirth. I think we all looked at other leaders at first, especially like the new aggressive leaders like Wedge and Poe, thinking like, are they potentially better than Sabine? Our research so far is that it's a no, and we're kind of getting back to Sabine. There's a lot of like sort of new armaments for Sabine in set 4, looking at like Luke Skywalker, which was our preview card. Sabine's Masterpiece is another good one. There's just a lot, Chewy. So kind of figuring the right configuration. So I like Sabine. I still really like Django, although I think Django's sort of already dealing with a meta reaction, even though it's not out yet. Like set 4's not out, or I guess it just officially came out. But like, everyone sort of knowing that Django is getting all this help and like in playtesting, it's like, Django's not surprising anyone. Like Devastator on 6 resources isn't like shocking. Oh, that worked that way, like, with Triple Dark Raid.
Right.
So I think Sabine is sort of well positioned in a sense that like if people are hating for Django and they kind of forgot about Sabine, and the aggro decks are oftentimes best in like an early stage of the tournament. So I like Sabine. I also really like Django. I think those are the two that I would play, and Han's also probably still the best deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with the Django points. Not only is there going to be an overreaction, but there's also going to be a ton of people playing it, so the mirror becomes really tough to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
And like the things that you have to do to win the mirror also make you really bad against Han and other like decks that you probably be a little bit more like 50-50 against. The decks I threw up there because like what I'm looking at is Quinlan, because I just find Quinlan to have really strong matchups into the best decks. I don't love the way that I play Quinlan. I think it's like the same shortcomings I have with Django. Is like I try and play it a little too controlling when I need to play them a little more aggro, especially new Django.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been working on
that is
Anakin
a
quite
tough
a bit,
thing with
but
Quinlan sometimes.
yeah, it's just like, all right, I'm trying to control, and then like you have to flip, and you don't have a really great late game. So if you didn't do the damage early, you're just not getting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been working on Anakin quite a bit, and in that deck thread, like we're trying to like workshop ways to beat Django, because I do like Anakin a lot into Han. I think it got a lot of good anti-Han tools.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Django is the tough part. It's like, get your force throw. Do you have something to throw at Django to kill him, or do you have Plo Koon?
Yeah.
I mean, not Plo Koon. You have like something that you can like Anakin attack into him, like Champs and Dula has been really good in Anakin.
Right, because then you can hit him for 7. I think Rival's Fall could make a comeback, especially in that deck. Like you have tools to kind of stall a little bit more.
Yeah, it's just tapping out for an event on 6 on your Anakin flip turn is kind of rough. You like kind of
you got to keep some guys up
delay some actions
before
and
then.
stuff.
Like your shieldy boys got to live, so that way you can spend a whole turn.
Yeah, but
I think what
because then they can't tap
I
Anakin.
did go 3-1 versus Alex last night testing Anakin.
Ooh.
I mean, Anakin
I think one
versus
of the
Django.
Django. That's good.
Django. That's cool.
I would have assumed it was Han, but yeah.
I think one of the things that makes it difficult for like preparation right now is if you could play Sabine or you play whatever one of the top decks, Django, Quinlan, Han, and you'll lose like the matchup against one of the other big ones, and it feels like that's sort of a natural way that the matchup might go. And you're like, okay, I lost with Django into Quinlan. This Quinlan looks great. It's crushing me. Let me play Quinlan. And then you play some Quinlan games and you lose to Django or you lose to Sabine and you're like, what am I doing wrong? So I think like there's a lot of work to be done right now about like how to actually get the play patterns and margins. Mike touched upon it about like being aggressive. So I think like just there, it's these the matchups between the top decks feel like they can go any way now. Like Han used to dominate Sabine. Feels like Sabine's caught up a little bit. I think Han's still up. Django I felt like used to be pretty good against Quinlan, but now Quinlan's got like that Kira unit is really or that Ahsoka unit, excuse me.
Yeah,
the new Ahsoka is really good. So like the margins have been shortened. But the games aren't necessarily like super close either. Like there are blowouts, and you're just like, why is this a blowout? Like I don't get it. Like what went wrong this game?
Right.
So it's a lot of like head scratching. I've been doing a lot of losing in testing, just like trying to figure things out.
Yeah, I mean that you identified a really good point of like, I think people still are, and I've been guilty of it in the past, is like still too much either like best of one or like not like really identifying what your pain points are. Like you have the tools to flip matchups with certain cards, so you really have to just identify like this is what these are the matchups I'm expecting to pull, and then this is like what I'm gonna do for the other ones, and like being okay with losing game ones. Like man, I watched Mike's tournament run and like the amount of times he went to game 3 and 1, and then like. For everyone who knows, like, like maybe this is more like behind the scenes, like in between sets, I also follow other games. And so like I've been on a big Pokemon VGC bender, and like I've been following the tournaments there, and like the amount of times people lose best of like the first game in a best of 3 and make adjustments, and like that's their whole game plan of like, like I'm like I'm gonna figure this out, I'm gonna see what's going on and then adjust. Like the adjustments are just so important. So like pick who you want to be a dog to. Do you want to main deck your commandeers or do you want them in the sideboard? Like, do you want to have 3 daring raids? Like, that's all. Like, you have that control. You just have to you have to think a little bit about it, and you have to be okay. Like, okay, I'm just gonna have to go to 3 against Django or whatever deck. But I think,
especially when you
that's
have
what the game is.
A game plan or like really strong cards in that matchup where you can just win both. Like there are matchups where you're like, okay, well, I know I'm gonna lose game 1, but I know that like I'm increasing my chances to like 75%, or because of all the specific.
And then if you sneak a game 1, you're just like, oh well, this guy's cooked.
Yeah, then you're just looking great. Yeah, that's
like
a good point.
That's like you can't beat everything. Like I've been working on this video in my head, but like you cannot. It's very rare are we going to come into a time where like and it's probably a little bit of Django right now, but then you have the mirror. Like you're just not gonna be able to beat everything, man. Like someone's gonna come up with their Data Vault Luke out of nowhere, and you're gonna be like, whoa. But like,
Steve, how's the Piet going? I know me and Steve played some Piet the other day. He was impressed by my Boba Fett deck.
Yeah, that was crazy. I don't know how you did that much damage. I was playing a mono green version, trying it out, and like I'm dropping Star Destroyers with 8 health, and somehow he still like indirected me to the face for like 5 million.
I kept typing TikTok in the chat. TikTok, watch the clock. Just like watch the life go down, and then the Devastator hits, and it's 5 to the face.
Yeah,
they can't.
Yeah, I didn't really understand. I thought you were just watching Hook at first, and then all of a sudden I was like,
Maddie should learn how to do that with the mustache, the little TikTok.
Oh yeah,
right.
Who's?
No, Pete's sweet. I mean, I'm gonna be dropping bombs all set long. Like my plan for this set is to pick one deck and just play it through the whole season, kind of like how you did Django last season.
That's good.
And I think,
you.
yeah, absolutely. Like I played Prime Time, Primeval Titan back when Magic was when that was a thing, and like I just like dropping big ships, you know?
Yeah, big green animals with and then Magic didn't have overwhelming barrage. You get to do that.
No. I will say this, I have been completely underwhelmed by Turbo Laser Salvo.
Really? I thought that
Yeah,
card was pretty
I
good
think
when I
it's
played it.
it's pretty good when they're complete dodging and racing though. Like I think it's a necessary evil. You know when you're going to need it, and when you
Well,
don't,
like
you're
if
fine.
they're
Yeah.
completely dodging space and just going to the ground, like I've found overwhelming barrage is more necessary because you can play it 2 turns sooner.
I think it's a better
Then you
card,
hit them for a million.
but I think it's just you're not always going to have
Yeah,
the barrage.
it's like giving you.
It's like your
giving you
fourth
more.
barrage.
You know what I mean? It's giving
Yeah.
you a couple extra. Yeah, 4 or 5.
When it first released, I was like, "Oh, this card is going to be absurd," but like I find myself playing it less and less.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I think it's resource early. If you draw it late, probably winning you a game.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Busted interactions and jump to Lightspeed. All right, so we asked. This is a great idea Justin had. Justin was like, ask the whole tournament team for their favorite busted interactions to build around. So we've got one from every member of the team. I didn't get Steve because Steve's on vacation. But obviously, if Steve wants to throw one in, he can have a fancy slide to do. So we're gonna go through all the members and think about and react to maybe explain and react to their busted interaction. What do you guys think?
Sounds great.
Love it.
Are they all in here?
No, I just made a
Like,
slide.
are they jumping in?
No.
Oh,
I think Alex is.
Are you kidding me? Alex
They're
and Woo
definitely
are sleeping.
So Alex didn't get
teenagers.
back to me at first, and I made this slide, and then he was like, "Just do Tech DJ."
Yeah.
And I already made it. I was like, "Bro, I already did it." So here's the
just
reason why I wanted to talk about it, because even as busted as this is, people still are in the comments being like, "It's not that bad. It's not that bad." I promise you that it is. If
It's
you are
insane.
playing a deck that either goes to space or can't do 5 damage to Tech on turn 2, you just lose.
You just lose.
You literally just lose. Like, never lose that game. Like, I mean, Han never loses that game where he gets to successfully steal the resource and keep it.
Yeah, on turn 3, there's no chance. Yeah.
Right. So they play Tech on turn 2. This is why I like Anakin with the new 3/3 shielded guy. I can just kill the Tech, right? You need Waylay, you need something to get it off the table. Because if they do steal that DJ on turn 3, that takes them from 5 to 6. If you can't kill the DJ or bounce it immediately, then they flip on, and then they're at 7, and it's off to you're just cooked. And this is such a good strategy against 6-cost leaders because they have extra time to do it. They don't just have to do it on turn 3. When your leader flips on 6, they can wait a turn. They can make sure that the coast is clear a little bit more, and then you're never getting your lead. It happens to me all the time.
Tech DJ.
Why didn't they ban this?
I don't know, because they specifically changed Lando to only defeat resources they own. But that was in a later set, and they had already printed Han or whatever, and they didn't think that it would be a big deal. But it is obviously.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think Django and Quinlan and I've both been like, oh, I wonder if we can just do 30 base. And you can't, just because Tarkin Town is basically one of the best ways to keep this under control. And sometimes you can't still, you can't even keep it under control.
Yeah.
Definitely. Alex got it. Alex has nailed it. This is one of the most broken combos, but not necessarily a JTL combo.
Yeah, you need to make sure you start on the ground. You want to have Tarkin Town. If you're Django, you want to start crafty. I know a lot of people cut Greedos because of the ping meta, but maybe sideboard 3 Greedos because Greedo's insane here.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
You have to have an answer for it. Like we talked about, a couple of minutes ago, having plans. You need to have a plan for this combo because the other Hans can do it too. I tech DJ'd somebody with Green Han yesterday.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Green Han is still a great place to put this. But yeah, that's the thing, Justin, is the whole deck building, deck selection consideration. I probably could never take that Boba Fett, even though I love it to a extent, because it just doesn't have anything for. I put in 3 force chokes though, but it's still rough. If I don't hit the force choke,
Yeah, then you're kind of.
I actually moved Force Choke in my latest Django to the main as a 2 of, just because I was thinking, this was my big epiphany of like, Django's better in the late game than it ever was. So I always play more removal
Yeah, that's a
early,
great point.
waylays and force throws. And just actually like cut units and just play removal in the early stages and then just try to win that way. It's been so far so good.
Yeah, so this was Alex's pick for most busted in. I forget what order I did.
He broke in Alex fashion. He broke the rules a little bit. I think the rest of us are doing JTL. But, I like that. Like it is.
We're a competitive meta
relevant because there was like a banning thing that like I don't know. I kind of thought DJ was going to get the X, but
and Mike got to like have his therapeutic like therapy session by like, and then they get you here, and then they take your resource.
Let it out, Mike. Let it out.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
It isn't, but that is like that's why I was looking at Anakin at the end of last set.
Not your fault. Don't do that. Don't do this.
Like Anakin.
It's not your fault.
Oh, Chrono did this to me.
Oh, this one's fun.
This is crazy. So Hansel, I probably should have done the other side, but whatever. I like the vertical cards.
This is
Han putting out a dilapidated speeder for 2 on turn 2, and then 1 cost bigs to give it grit. It comes into play with 5 damage, and it's swinging for 10 on turn 3. It's got 10 attack.
Yeah, 3 + 2 + 5.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he did this to me the other day. I forget what I think I was playing Boba Fett. And he did this. I'm like, well, you played this into my indirect damage deck. That thing's gonna be hitting for 12. But yeah, it is a cool combo.
I don't know what his second color is, but you could
has to be
pump
blue, right? It has to be blue based.
Yeah, shielded or something.
Otherwise, you're just Tarkin 10 death.
Wait, is there a blue
death anyway though?
He did it with green as
maybe green.
Oh yeah, green. I was gonna say because if you do it with yellow, you could surprise Drake it too, and just really go for it.
Biggs. When I was working on Poe, and like even Wedge to a degree, I really love that Biggs pilot costs 1.
Biggs is
great to a
really versatile.
+0/+1 to a transport, and what I forget what he gives to a fighter.
Overwhelm, I think.
Fighter, yeah. Yeah, he's just really like the 1 cost pilots are great. They're just so strong.
Yeah. That's why like the red-green wedge is the most popular deck thread because then he's free, which is kind of cracked.
Yeah, and I was gonna make this mine, but I decided not to in the end. But honorable mention to Han Solo 2, putting out new Poe on turn 2 and making a 4/5. Like we're playing the stolen AT hauler with a huge horrible drawback, whereas like this Han just makes a 4/5 ship because it plays Poe. For last, it puts the damage on it, and then Poe jumps on the X-wing gates. Damage goes away. So you just get a 4/5 on turn 2.
4/5 at the worst.
Right, at the worst.
If you start with a ship, you get like if you start with Poe's ship, you attack for 5 and ping something.
Yeah.
It makes it a 5/5. Yeah.
Oh,
can you play?
5/6.
You can play a pilot unit from your hand for 2 less.
No, but Poe, the new Poe, which I like. So he's
kind of underrated.
He makes an X-wing, and then you can attach him to the X-wing when you play him regularly.
When you play him as a unit, so then he skips his damage.
No, in general you can't.
Yeah,
it's because
it says unit
from you. The only card, and another honorable mention that Alex wanted to shout out was Cobb Vanth, because everything else says play a unit, which is why you can't make it as a pilot. But Cobb Vanth says play a card.
Yeah.
So you put a unit into your discard pile, but you can play that card.
Play it as their pilot.
You get to play it with a pilot as Cobb Vanth. So you can put Boba Fett in there, and then,
but not the lower cost.
Yeah, what's the cost? Is it the printed cost or the pilot cost?
Printed cost.
It's like
it doesn't let you do like a Boba Fett.
It doesn't let you do Boba Fett. You got to do like Luke.
But you could grab like
or whatever.
Luke, and
you can
deploy Luke as a upgrade instead, which is really cool.
Yeah, because
that is cool.
He costs 3 as a
Cobb Vanth stocks.
Yeah.
There are those cards, not to go on a quick but tangent, but like there are those cards that you need to revisit every set, and like Cobb Vanth is one of them, man. Like I don't know if you can hear that. Marshall's
That's why I own
Marshall does not like Cobb Vanth. Marshall's like, no, Cobb Vanth just sucks, Dad. Stop telling him wrong stuff.
All right, next one. Justin. Justin's card. He wanted to shout out as Vader. He's like just machine gun Vader. Just playing Vader on turn 2. So I just made some laser beams. Vader being an absolute.
Yeah, basically, I was just thinking about there's like a lot of obviously like Kyle's tie attacks for 6 with Vader, but like you can go Cartel Spacer, or you can go like there's just a couple other like random ships, Zargarian, whatever it's called. There's another one that's like comes in ready if they have more ships than you. So basically, you just play like a turn 1 ship. You could even play the TIE Bomber if you wanted. I don't really love that card, but then you play Tarkin and Django.
Yeah.
Right, and your goal is that
7S.
okay, if they have Waylay, they have Waylay. You're not necessarily doing this into Han, although even into Han, like being 5 means they can't cunning it. So like you might just force them to have like if they don't have the Waylay, they're just cooked because this will basically do the following. It'll put a damage into their first turn play, and then you can Tarkin Town it. And then for the rest of the game, you basically you're almost always going to have the initiative because you're really only doing like one thing. You're attacking. So you're just like attacking and claim and pinging and tapping something down every turn. And all the while, like they have to answer this, and the rest of your deck is like looming. So like the Boba flip turn with triple dark raid, like you haven't even discussed that, and it's just waiting in the wings. So it creates like a layered threat pattern. And like even if you think about it, if they waylay, they're up like maybe 1 unit if the Vader never attacked, and like maybe you can go like 2 drops on turn 3 to kind of get back in, and you got your Boba flip, and you got your Tarkin Town still. So like. There's ways to claw back in. I think like Power of the Dark Side is probably the thing that like eats this the most. But I like it. You win a lot of games just like for free. It's similar to like a Darksaber, where like it maybe isn't always great, but when it is, it's sort of a free win, and you just get to do it. So like think of like Maddie's point about like best of 3. Like if this happens in one of the 3 games in a best of 3, and you win that one, and then you just steal one of the other ones with like the deck being strong with Triple Dark Raid and Ruthless Raider and Sneak Attack, all the regular powerful stuff. So this just giving like another angle of how Django wins, I think is really neat.
And like the cool, like one of the things you talked about when the game, like I think when Darksabers first came out or something, it was like if you win game 1 with this and then you board it out and they're like prepping for it, then you've like really blown them out, which is cool. And then the other point I wanted to raise is like the cool thing about pilots too is like, oh, you waylaid the pilot, then I can just like play my 7/7 on the ground later. Like because like with regular upgrades, like you only have one mode.
The upgrade
so like
does go
no, you,
to the
you lose your pilot, yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I was gonna say like one thing I like about pilots, so I was wrong about that. But one thing I like about pilots is like
Luke.
Luke. Is that like say someone has a Darksaber, I just don't let them stick a unit. But like the thing about like the Vader, if you draw it later, is like you it just becomes a unit.
I've sneak attacked Vader, and it's
sneak attack Vader.
Right. So
the other thing is like
the
turn 2, but also like turn 5. I was talking to Mike. We were discussing this. Like you can take a bunch of actions on the flip turns. You can go flip, attack with your Boba. If you have another unit out, attack. So you could theoretically put him out like on the flip turn. If you have a lot of 2 drops, like play a 2 drop, leave the 1 like space unit back to attack. So like on the 3rd or 4th action, play a Vader. And now you've got like 2 things because they've got your Boba Fett you've got to deal with, and you've got this because it only costs 3. So you could do on the flip turn, you could do like 3 and 2 and 3, 3 and 2, and like maybe it's on a bigger ship, like maybe it's on an IG 2000 now that has overwhelm, and it's like hitting pretty heavy. So
people are incentivized to claim early when you have Django flip. They need to not get their guys tapped, or they want to try and take them beforehand. So
right.
That opens you up to being able to axe, and if you kill something and you do, or the base, it just. We've been testing some Vader Django, and yeah, it's just strong as hell. All right, next up was Maddie's. Maddie's loving Han Solo and our other spoiler card, Salvage, being able to defeat a ship from your resource row with Han and then play it out of that discard pile with Salvage.
Dude, I was gonna say Salvage. I wonder if you pronounce it that way before. That's really funny.
I did.
Gem Brothers were
in our video.
Okay. I was gonna say there must have been some reason why I was gonna
follow
do
us.
Yeah, I think Salvage is really cool in Green Han for a lot of reasons, and one of the big ones and why it's on the slide is like there are games where like in the past you're like, man, I just can't play home on this game. I drew it too early. The way the stars align, like I have to row it, and then I'm never getting to 10 to tech it out, or if I get to 10 to tech it out, that that's like Christmas land. Whereas like I can row this early, I can bin it, and then I can pick it back up with Salvage has been just like a whole nother angle that just like provides you more play lines and like a little more of a nutrition thing. It's almost like having the main deck tranquility in a way of like you're able to like stick these threats more and get them back. But salvage is just so versatile in this deck. Like, yeah, you can do the home one thing. You can pick back up just like a falcon and just hit him for the 3 points you need. You can play the red, the greens. What's the green 3/3 that turns into a 5/5?
Yeah, blue leader.
Blue leader.
Blue leader. You can like pick back up your ambush, and then they're coming right back in.
Yeah,
You
like
can pick back up your
Marauder.
marauder. Yeah. So all those things, and then with tech, you can row your salvage, and then every vehicle in your graveyard is basically in your resource row, right? So like, there's just a lot of cool angles. One of my favorite was salvage into Falcon, put a pilot on it, win the game. So that was that was pretty sweet. So yeah, I think salvage is like kind of cracked in Han because of the fact that you can put these guys into your row either with R2 or just with his defeat a resource ability and pick them back up.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, I like it.
It's been fun too. So
I bet.
It's cool that you like tech gives you your resource row, salvage gives you your discard pile,
playing with
and
all your
hand.
cards.
All your cards that you see are just like playable. That's really cool.
Yeah, it could end up being a sideboard thing into like attrition wars, but I have it main deck early in the meta just to try it out. But like it feels really potent.
Han Green was like my first thing that I wanted to look at with set 4. I thought it was great. It's like when we didn't even have the full spoiler list. I was like, early ship, put a Chewy on it, like win the game that way. That's been like less good in testing just because of like Django tapping it, and like Quinlan actually has been like kind of a problem.
Right.
With all the discard, like you just kind of feel like really light. But I haven't tried salvage. So I think I'm kind of excited to build this.
Yeah, salvage is good there. And then like I think against Quinlan, you almost have to go like what I like too is like they're multi-mode. So like in some decks you're going this like salvage route, you're pushing damage early, and then other decks you're like we're the U-wing deck today.
Yeah, that's
and the dual modes is pretty good. Oh, another quick play. We talked about the hauler. If you play hauler and they kill it, but say they're like, well, I can just pick back up the hauler whenever, you salvage it and you steal it from your graveyard or discard pile. That's kind of fun. I've done that before.
That is really good.
That's pretty cool.
Because they're like, well, I'll just get it. You know, I'll just get it whenever. I don't need it to be my next action. Like, there's other things going on.
They probably used their action to kill it, so like it's your action next.
You have it. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, so you can pick back up your hauler.
I like it.
All right, I assume I'm next because I think I. There you go. There's the Devastator. Just
a lot of action here.
Burn deck has come to SWU. My favorite bust interaction is just how much indirect damage can pile up with Boba. I was really low on Gorilla Soldier to start, and then after playing him, when he follows a Pride, you're doing 10 damage first 2 turns of the game, like pre-turn 3. So I really like that you exhaust this leader, do 1 indirect damage to a player. It really benefits you to like be aggressive with it so that they have to trade your guys out, so there's no board on either side, and then you like slam a Fett's Fire Spray for 3 damage, slam a Torpedo Barrage for 6, and then the Devastator is that ticking clock that I mentioned earlier with can't kill me. It's fine because the Devastator will come out, and then I just start directing all that indirect damage as direct damage right to your face. That's been my favorite, is just finally playing a burn deck. I'm not like a crazy burn player, but I did, me and my team came up with the burn Ewok deck in Star Wars Destiny. Fared us well and won. I always like to look for a game that like they're not ready for burn, but here's a burn deck that you.
Yeah, that's sick. It's also, I think it's the best art on the showcases too. So for those people that like to sort of have the cards that look, I mean, all the cards on the screen are like sick looking. Devastator, Boba Fett, Fett's Fire Spray.
Yeah, I threw this Fire Spray up there because it's the one that's. Oh no, I love the regular Fire Spray Hyper. I bought some Hypers. I actually love the matte. They made a matte of it.
Yeah.
The Prestige. I like the regular Hyper Fire Spray. That's my favorite. I don't have my wallet on me. I actually didn't open any Devastators, so
In your wallet.
I bought.
You really like it.
Well, I bought it and I forget to take it out of my wallet.
Amazing.
And every time I go for my money, I'm like, oh, the Devastator, the Fire Spray.
Like a picture of your kids and also Fire Spray.
I ordered 3. I bought off one of the subs. Shout out to McFrigo. I bought 3 Prestige Devastators. Like
that's the sick thing about Prestige is you can just bling out, and like it shouldn't be too bad if you're not going the serialized, like in terms of price point.
Yeah,
I don't think.
No, they weren't bad. I'm gonna grab some on eBay. They weren't.
Oh yeah,
bad.
non-foil. Yeah, dude, that art is so sick.
Yeah, it's really. Yeah, I love. All
right, muting.
I love the burn. All right, next up, Tada. Tada's favorite is Captain Tarkin into I Hate That Ship with an ambush unit. So you play.
It could be home one also.
It can be home one. True. It can be home one.
If they have a ship, they need one ship.
This Falcon is for only 1 cost, so you could just do this on turn 3, the 4 resource turn. You slam.
Turn 3. Yep.
You slam Tarkin. You play I Hate That Ship, so it creates 2 TIE fighters. Your ship now has Overwhelm, and so because it has ambush, you're just overflowing immediately and only giving the 1 TIE fighter. So he's really like this combo, and this is it. Chrono have been possibly some other guys, but building as a build around. They Hate That Ship is a real. I think we're going to see that. I think it's proving to be pretty good. This is a cool combo.
It feels really weird to have Tarkin and a hero.
I know, but that
is a good point.
Is he ever good?
That's cool. Yeah, he's
neutral.
Tarkin. He's
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's neutral. But he was a general in the. He's a captain in the Republic in the Clone Wars. Like he worked on Anakin's ship.
And he's a 2/5, so he's a little stickier, which is good. Like they made too many. I love that uncommon Tarkin has 5 ass, but like legendary Ahsoka only has 4. Okay, off my soapbox, but I think this combo's sick. I Hate That Ship with like the whatever pings everyone. What's that insane tank? But like this is even a step further of like you get to reap the benefit right away. It just takes an extra card, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff. Like
because then they don't get the TIE fighter.
Does it for
7. You just kill everything, and then like it's huge. You could untap with it, and then like it have potentially some overwhelm, but yeah.
Yeah, so great combo. Look for that. And then Woo's was he likes the new Han leader to untap resources so you can play K-turn on whatever you played that turn, untap it, and hit either with a Falcon or the tactical heavy bomber. And the heavy bomber is cracking for 12. It is some of the indirect, but it's still a ton of damage on the 5 resource.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's been trying to make K-turn work. For good reason. It's pretty busted to ready thing.
I like that this has the Boba vibe of like, like getting like playing something and then getting the resources back so you can make a really powerful turn. So if you're gonna do that, like trying to exploit it with this like kind of like it's not an OTK or anything. It's not like but it is like this just massive power play where you're just gonna put on so much damage. I think that's really neat.
Yeah. So Steve, do you have one that you want to shut up before we go?
Piet and any Star Destroyer.
Oh baby.
Yeah.
I knew he was gonna say that.
Just make it -2 up. Well, so I didn't realize until yesterday, actually, I was playing a game in between some stuff we were doing, and it was just like my space deck versus their space deck, so Pia was just like out for like 2 or 3 turns. I didn't realize he makes like multiple Star Destroyers in the same turn -2.
Yeah.
Because like I was
any
dropping
capital
the
ship, so
Sentinel
you can have cheaper ones, yeah.
Yeah, like that's crazy. Like I was thinking it was like 1 per turn, similar to his activated ability. But like I was just dropping bombs, baby.
Yeah, no, it's like Django. It's just unlimited. You want to play two ships for 10 resources. You can play 2 7s.
Yeah, you can put. I played 2 6s for 8, which is pretty reasonable. Like not out of the realm of possibility.
No, not at all. Yeah, that's really good. The other thing I think people forget is like when they play Devastator, it's not deal 10 to something, it's deal damaging.
I did that a few times.
Yeah, and I'm always counting. I'm like, all right, well, he can't kill my thing, and then they slam it, and like, oh no, never had your card.
Yeah, I got blown up by that one. Twice.
Nice. All right. Well, those were the busted interactions. Shout out to the team for contributing those ideas. That was great. And then obviously hit us in the comments with whatever your favorite busted interaction is. Tell us what we might have missed or what we should be working on. All right. I did mention this already a couple times, but I just wanted to highlight some of the Carbonite breaks that we've had and pulled 2 serialized, the 250 out of 254, which you might have seen on Facebook. We also pulled a 78 out of 250. Radiant 7, the 7-7 out of lot of showcases. There was even more that I don't there. A lot of showcases,
That
a lot of sick pulls. The Tanev pulled that and saw the 2. So hype.
That's so hype.
That's an underrated card too.
Yep, and
that card's better than I thought it was.
Oh, Tanev's great. Yeah, I've actually been playing it in my Green Han. I really like. What is it? Love dropping.
Right. Yeah. Playing 7s there. The one thing I wanted to say real quick, Mike, is like even if you're not like in on the breaks, like everyone just like hanging out. There's like 50 plus people. I think the first one was even more, like just hanging out, like rooting it on. Like it's just fun. Like it's just like another fun community hang thing that we have in the Discord, and I think that's like probably the thing we're most excited about. It's like ripping cool cards for people.
Yeah, and
I was actually.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I was actually able to scoop up another case over the past 48 hours, doing a little work while I'm over in Italy.
God.
Couldn't find any Carbonite Italian versions, but it should be coming this week. So if we want to fire up another one in the future, we can definitely do that.
Cool. Yeah, that puts us at a couple in the canister now. I have one scheduled for Wednesday, and I forgot about this. But so we do these in the we stream these in the Discord, so you have to be a subscriber. But because of that Patreon program I mentioned, we are getting live stream through Patreon capabilities. So free members should be able to watch the Bobby Cam during the breaks.
Oh man,
that's really cool.
Yeah, so I'll have one camera on me and my phone, and I'll be able to show, the nice hits to the Bobby Cam now. And anyone just following for free should be able to participate in at least viewing part of it. But then obviously breaks you get it.
That's sweet.
All right.
Yeah, and we're 2 for 2 with serialized per case.
2 for 2 with serialized. Got the hot hand, yeah. 5 showcases, 2 serialized across 2 cases. All right, couple questions before we go. Online criticism. As a newer TCG player, shout out to Tiny Sucka, amazing name. How would you guys recommend filtering through online deck criticism?
That's a great name.
I've noticed some content creators or other voices in a leader doesn't stand a chance. Weeks later, that leader makes a splash. Reminiscent of X-Wing, where we're told X faction is trash, only for that faction to win. Be even more confusing. We'll rip into a deck after it actually top 8s, or just flat out won. Are people not taking into account that players have different playstyles or possibly found some secret sauce? Please give a non-meta scrub player some hope. Yeah, I mean, if you we're a bunch of talking heads, and sure, we do criticize things, but I don't know if we've ever been like, I don't know, we probably have. But just tell us to pound sand. Just if you think it's good, go play with it and prove all the people who think they know what they're talking about wrong.
Well, there's a lot going on in this message.
Yeah, it's
I think there's a couple different things.
I think it's all sort of aimed at, I want to play off meta, but people trash it. What should I do? How do I deal with people saying that my deck is bad when I don't think it's bad?
Follow your heart, baby.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah.
There's listen, any given week, if you have a lot of experience and you're piloting a deck, very well, there's going to be a week where you pull the right matchups. Okay, Sabine's prominent and you don't have a great matchup there, but if you dodge Sabine all weekend and you're able to exploit some of your other matchups, you can go and take down a PQ. I think the one thing is understanding the strengths and weaknesses of your deck and either shoring them up or being okay with on a given weekend it might not be it. There's weekends where say mono green Palp is the sauce, but I wouldn't necessarily play that say in Massachusetts in set 2 where we knew there was going to be a bunch of Sabine, but that's not to say you can't go play it somewhere else if your local meta is different, right? So there's a million leaders for a reason, and I think you just have to identify what kind of player you want to be and lean into your reps. Like we saw it with Mike. Steve just identified of like playing a deck for an entire PQ season. Like you're going to sharpen your skills with that deck over the course of the meta and over the course of the tournament season. So like, go for it if that's your jam. I think like once something wins, yeah, like it's hard to trust it too much.
That's what I think. There's the criticism of like, oh, X top deck sucks, what the content creator might say, like, you know, what's a sort of like an Anakin, right? Someone might say Anakin sucks. And Anakin has won some stuff. And if you want to jump in there, like definitely put in the reps, look at the list, add your own creativity to it. As Maddie's saying, it's like there could be a weekend that it's really good. Sort of like that tier 1.5 into 2 range of like we've seen a Palp's another version, right? Like those type of decks. Then there's like the Watt Temblars where you do just have to say like, you know what, this isn't good. Like don't be stubborn. You're probably not going to see that deck having like won anything. I think like there was an IG88 that like top 8'd something, but like no, IG88 not going to do
like
it.
Top 4 to
right?
12 man.
Right. So like you do have to kind of look for like the context a little bit, but I do think like there's no one that should be saying like this deck in the top, 10 decks is unplayable because as Maddie said, there's a lot of leaders, there's a lot of variety. It's not like just all Han, all Sabine. Like you can do good stuff with some of these other leaders and explore, and then new set comes out and it adds layers. I heard some good players talking about Dr. Afra. So there are ways to be creative, and I think just stick with it because ultimately the KTOD was founded by a bunch of scrubs who found a really good deck, and the rest is history. So like
seriously,
that was what we weren't great. We found one deck and won every tournament for a year. So
right, but then
25 years ago,
it unlocks for you to start winning.
Then you see other things,
right?
Right.
So if you think you cracked something, then you put it to the test, bring it to your event, do well with it, and then like Justin said, the rest is history. The other thing is, from our point of view, I can't speak for every content creator, but like people pay us a lot of money to like monthly to recommend things for them, guide them. We can't always like willingly guide someone to play, a deck that we think is rogue and not well placed in the meta. So like some of our ethos is, obviously you should do whatever you've, and I said this a million times, you should always do what you feel the most comfortable with. You always play the deck that you think gives you the best chance to win. But like, I'm not going to sit here and recommend you swap to a deck that's like super rogue and you don't have any reps on. That's a lot of it too.
Right.
Last question. Is the release schedule hurting the game? This question is from maybe we already answered. But I guess like it's apropos.
We have answered that one.
It's apropos. I should be better at answering these.
No, but honestly, it's good to come back
because
I think we did talk about it on the
It's a good question. I think a lot of people answered it like in the Discord. Like this is one where like people just jumped in and started like having a discussion around.
Top, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if we actually did.
Well, I think we did talk about it because my memory is just, as you guys know,
I think a good reason to revisit is some of the things we talked about earlier today, which is the game's going great.
Yeah, exactly. The game's going great. I think it's the perfect time between sets.
I think
set 3 was kind of a downer, but if you have these banger sets every 3 months, it's going to be great. The release schedule works perfectly.
What was the time frame between the last PQ of set 3 and set 4 release?
2 weeks.
Like, you guys roughly
4 weeks.
Yeah, just a couple weeks.
3 or 4 weeks. Yeah.
The only thing I would say is I don't think they need to adjust maybe the 4-month cycle, but maybe shorten that. Because it felt like from our point, there was definitely a little bit of a lull in the Discord between set 3 wrapping up and set 4 fully launching. So maybe if they just tighten that up, like give one more week of PQs, give more people a chance to qualify, and also like it keeps people engaged for one week longer type of thing.
Yeah,
but I think the 4-month cycle is pretty
cool. Well,
yeah, I wouldn't want more. I like too many or too quick. You can't enjoy it. You're always playing catch up. You're like, what? I just finished building this deck, and now like I'm seeing new cards I have to add. So I think the 4-month is crisp.
Yeah, and also like they start doing the spoilers for PQ
early. Yeah, it's like a slow bleed.
That's a good point.
Oh, that's the wrong.
They hate that chip.
Those plays were crazy though.
All right,
crazy plays.
Well, that's the 29th episode of KTOD.
Oh my
Steve,
God.
we almost did it in an hour. We did 104.
That was perfect.
Cool deck.
I gotta go get some lunch, get some bread.
All right.
Bread and meats.
Nice. Have
Ooh,
some.
yeah, baby.
salami for
Some soft provolone.
Yeah, some very soft
some
provolone.
some soft provolone.
All right. We'll check you
Nice.
guys in 2 weeks.
Can you say bye?
Bye. Bye, Marshall.
Bye, Marshall.